I do a lot of knife videos, and I get a lot of requests in the comment section to look at this knife or that knife and check it out. And believe it or not, I actually do read those comments, and I usually check the knives out and see if it's something that makes sense for the channel. Well, not too long ago, I had a request from a viewer to take a look at the Adventurer knife from right here from the folks at BPS Knives. So I did, and I agree. I think it looks like a really good value for the channel. This knife comes in at around the $50 mark. Seems like a very, very good knife with a really nice leather sheath. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me for another Sharp Saturday video where it's Saturday and we take a look at something sharp. And as I said today, that something sharp is this BPS Knives Adventurer. We're going to take a look at this thing, talk about the details, talk about the value, get to doing some of that knife stuff. But first, a big thank you to the sponsors for today's video, the folks at Gunspot. Gunspot is the newest online listing and auction site for both new and used firearms, accessories, and more, who offers absolutely great deals for buyers, never pay out-of-state sales tax or any other hidden fees like some auction sites, and they also have very low-cost fees for sellers. So whether you're looking to buy a really cool gun or other accessory, or maybe you got one you want to get rid of so you can buy something else, gunspot.com is a great place for you. But wait, there's more. They also have Gunspot Academy, which gives you a great place to share and learn about Second Amendment news and entertainment. So that's gunspot.com. Be sure and check them out and thank them for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's take a look at this knife. First of all, let me give you a little close-up before we get down to the old stump top. This is a really, really cool looking little knife, nice scandi grind. This thing is made in Ukraine. It's not like made in China, shipped to Ukraine. It's made in Ukraine, so that's pretty cool. It looks like it's got some really great features. The price on this thing on their website is $39.90 or something, like 40 bucks, $15 shipping, so that is 55 bucks for this really nice knife with this really nice leather sheath in it. So, without any further ado, let me take you down to the old stump top. We'll go over the specs of this thing real quick, and we'll get to doing some of that knife stuff. You want to? Okay, so here is the BPS Knives Adventurer. Let's talk about the specs of this thing real quickly. First of all, the overall length of this knife is 10 inches. For those of you still stuck in that old metric system like they are over in the Ukraine, that's 255 millimeters. Features a 5.3 inch scandi grind blade of 1066 steel with a 57 to 59 hardness, and that's 135 millimeters. The steel is 0.1 inches thick or 2.9 millimeters at the spine. Has a 4.7 inch or 120 millimeter walnut. Handle scales. It is a full tang knife. The weight on this knife only is 5.9 ounces or 170 grams. The weight of the knife and the sheath with everything included is 11.1 ounces or 315 grams. And just let me give you a little close-up to this thing. The grind on this thing is very, very even. Let me see if you can focus on that grasshopper. Grind is very, very even on both sides. There's that. Look on the other side. It's got just a little bit of a, I don't know if that's a heat treat issue right there or what it is. Kind of a little funkiness there, but it feels really, really sharp. It's the handle is screwed on here with Chicago screws. The fit and finish on this thing is really, really nice. A little bit of a swell here on the handle and kind of flat on the sides. The everything, nice little sharpening choil here. A little bit of a grip here, a little hook here on the handle. A lanyard hole drilled in, and it just feels really, really comfortable in my hand. And then the spine feels really sharp. So far, just from outward appearance, this thing seems like a pretty good knife. And again, $39.90, and it's 15 bucks shipping from, at least to my house here in Georgia, from the Ukraine. So that's about 55 bucks, right? Which I think is a pretty decent price if the knife is good. And it says right here on this, again, it is made, try to get that to focus, it's made in the Ukraine. So, it comes also with this really nice sheath, which is, that's one of the things that makes it such a value. This is 55 bucks, and this is a leather sheath. It's a dangler sheath. You can, obviously, you could probably remove this leather off here if you don't want to use a dangler sheath, or just let it hang down and carry it on your belt like so. Very nice welted sheath with a little ferro rod loop on it, and then it comes with this ferro rod, which is, oh man, it's tight right now. It's brand new, so I'm afraid I'm gonna pull the handle off taking it out, but it's in there. Seems to be epoxied in pretty well in this wooden handle. The handle looks like it's the same wood as the knife handle. So we're gonna try this thing out in just a minute, but very nice there, lanyard holding the ferro rod, and very, very nice leather sheath, and it fits a pretty deep carry sheath, as you can see. So I gotta say, for 55 bucks, this seems like a really good package if the blade is any good. So let's check that out. First of all, as I said, it appears pretty sharp. So since this is an international, kind of an international knife, I think it's worthwhile to do the internationally standard sharpness test, and we'll do the redneck sharp test. I'm gonna be real surprised, I'll be honest with you, this thing doesn't pass out with flying colors, because it feels stinking sharp. But let's try it and see. You want to? We'll try it. That looks like a nice little testing medium right there. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Whew. My goodness. Wow. Okay, so I think we can say that sucker absolutely passed the redneck sharp test. But the non-standard testing, everybody wants to see it, is a paper cutting test. So we're gonna try that. And I usually try to just hold this thing very lightly and see what it'll do in this paper, because I have no doubts. Oh man, just look at that. I mean, every little, okay, this paper's been laying on the ground out here. It's kind of damp, but you can see that, right? You can see how sharp. I'm in the camera. It's in the frame, right? Look at that. Okay. This bad boy is sharp. As I said before, sharp enough to shave a yak, but I think this might be sharp enough to shave a woolly mammoth. I don't know, man. It's sharp. Okay, so that being said, I think it'd be a good idea to do some regular old knife stuff. So I'm gonna back you up a little bit, make a little room on the stump top here, and we'll do some knife stuff. Okay, so it's not a chopper. You know, you can chop a little bit with this thing maybe, but it's not really what it's for. You could probably baton it through here, but I'll be honest with you, like probably last week, I had yet another comment. Somebody just absolutely deriding me because I dared to beat a knife through a piece of wood. That's not what knives are designed for. That's not what they're intended for. And I always ask myself, says who? Why? What makes you the arbiter of how I do my knife? So anyway, just in honor of that guy, I'm assuming it was a guy, and any of the other ones who might take umbrage at my how I decide to use my knife, we're going to split this piece of wood here. Now, this is about the biggest thing I would want to baton with this. So people always seem to think, oh, you're talking about building log cabins when you're splitting wood with a knife. Don't you have a hatchet? Yes, I have hatchets, I have axes, I have saws. I actually have a chainsaw, which I cut this with because it's pretty hard wood. This is typical of what you might find laying in the woods, after a lumberjack had been through. So anyway, as I've said many, many times, there's no sense in beating a dead horse. One of the benefits of being able to do this baton through a piece of wood is you can get to the inside in case you need to build a fire and everything's dry, like it's been raining here for a week. This is actually dry because I took this out of my shed. But another thing is, if you want to make a fireboard, a hearthboard or something, you can do that. Another thing is, if you just need to split up some kindling, I got axes. In my mind, it's safer to take this and tap it through than it is to, no matter how you use an axe. I know all the Boy Scout ways and all the ways I know how to use these things, man. But there's no way that this is not safer. There's no way. This is the most control you can possibly have, just doing this. But man, this sucker's some hard wood too. But you see how much control you have there? There's no way that it's safer to use an axe. I don't care what anybody says. Could you use an axe to do this? Sure, absolutely you could. Is there a benefit to using an axe to do this? Maybe it's easy, certainly it's easier on your knife. But again, I think most modern knives, most modern full tang knives are completely capable of being able to do this. If they're not, maybe you got the wrong knife. Now, to be fair, the video that comment was on was a buck 110 folding knife, which I don't really recommend batoning, but I did it in that video just to see how tough it was, and it, by the way, held up just fine. So, now that we've got the batoning done, and this is some oak, so it's kind of stringy, but I think what I'm gonna try to do now, you know where we're going, right? We're gonna try to build us a little bit of a fire here. We'll see how well this thing carves. And again, I'm trying to do the standard testing I do on all blades. So try to get down some of this stringiness off and get down to some kind of start myself some smooth angles here. And some wood curls better than others. And really stringy wood like this doesn't really curl the best, but you can see I'm getting some tiny little curls here. If I can catch once I've kind of got the smoothness going, you can see, look at those look at those little bitty tiny curls. Kind of cut through the stringiness. Look at that, I see a mosquito buzzing around down here, and I thought, it's like 2 weeks before Christmas when I'm making this, and I really thought that that would be, the mosquitoes would be dead by now, because it's been cold. We've had some freezing nights here in central Georgia. Get back up here, don't get wet. So, just kind of show you a little bit of some of those curls. Some of those curls are kind of small and they're kind of pretty. So, there's that, and we'll just put this aside for now. But, well, actually, we'll do one more thing with this. Let's see. We'll try a little scraping just on the regular wood. And look at that, man. This thing scrapes. Nice little scrapings up here. That might be helpful in starting a fire, right? We can scrape all those up together into a little pile. And actually, let's do some more. I'm trying to make myself a little landing here so I can go all the way down without having to have to stop there. So, now, we got this kind of off to the side there. So, the next thing I want to do, before we get any further with our testing, I'm going to pull my fat wood out of storage. There it is, been in storage. We're going to carve a little bit of this off. Actually, I thought I had a piece of fat wood that was already been split off of here. Oh, I do. Here it is. It's in storage also. Kind of damp. We're just going to see how. I'm going to scrape some of that off of there because, man, oh, man. And if you're one of the people that is new to the channel, you don't know what fat wood is, it's basically from a pine tree that's got a lot of sap in it. So it's got this stuff called terpenes in it, which is the stuff they made turpentine out of, and it's highly flammable. And, oh, it smells ever so good. Smell that. Oh my gosh, just smell it. Okay, so we're gonna carve that off back here. And we'll see if we need it. So, put you back in storage. We're gonna get the ferro rod that came with this thing, ferro cerium rod. Take it out. First, we're gonna there's fat wood. We don't want to contaminate our test with fat wood yet. So we're gonna try just the fuzziness straight off of that piece of oak, just that we scraped off. Get the paint off of this thing. Let's see. Oh, I also have people constantly tell me that I'm doing this wrong. Now I'm not doing it the right way. I'm supposed to hold this down and pull it. And yep, that works sometimes. But you see what? I do it this way, which works pretty good for me most of the time. as you can see. But you can also see this wood's maybe a little damp even after being in the building. Okay. Yeah, it's not wanting to continue to burn, but we might have it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think we got it. So, yeah, I call that a success. But you know me, right? I mean, you got this fat wood here. It'd be completely foolish to not go ahead and do this. Man, this is a soft ferro rod too. I like that. There we go. So this ferro rod seems to be pretty soft, and this plus this spine is pretty sharp. So there we go. So far so good. What do you think I ought to do next? Chuck Norris had to stop diving into the ocean. The tsunamis were killing people. Okay, well, that was some of the practical testing for this BPS Knives Adventurer. And I gotta say, so far, I think it's doing really, really well. The scandi grind is pretty good for batoning because it gives you a quick wedge and helps split wood out pretty quickly. Again, about a 5 and something inch blade. I don't remember, five something. You can rewind the video and get that if you want to. Really, really good at carving. The edge is really good on it. The scandi grind, really sharp. And the spine is really sharp. Did a great job at scraping and striking ferro rods and all that good stuff. Feels good in my hand. I wear a medium-sized gloves, and you can see this thing is just as big enough for my hand. If you wear large gloves, even if I'm down at the bottom, it's still got that much room left, so should be pretty good there. I like the fact it doesn't have any aggressive jimping or anything. No big gigantic choil, just a little sharpening choil, which allows you to get all the way down to the corner here. Just a, seems like a really good design, just nothing fancy about it, just a really functional knife. One thing I want to try to do before we get to the scientific part of this video is let's kind of do a recap of a recheck of the redneck sharpness test after doing that carving and batoning and what little bit we did. Let's get the other medium here. Let's just see. Are we in camera here? Let's just see. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so sharp. Look at that. Look at all that hair there. Can you see it? Oh man. Okay, so it's still really, really sharp, but as you know, here at Survival on Purpose, we are all about the science, and to that end, we maintain a state-of-the-art, cutting-edge knife testing facility here at our worldwide headquarters. And one of the testing processes we like to put every fixed blade knife through is the aerodynamic balance test using our balance, orientation, and rotation device. So, I think we should do that. You want to? Let's do it. And as always, proper scientific method is critical. Whoop, 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 whoop. Not bad for first try, and that really was the first try. I didn't edit this or anything, so let's try again. Whoop, 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 whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, ow, ooh. Actually, it's always good to have at least one or two of those calibration incidents because it checks the toughness of the knife, and you can see no issues here. I don't know what Kuma's barking about, but thankfully he's not out here trying to chase the knife, so we'll just carry on. Oh yeah, much better. We'll do one more, and hopefully, if it sticks, we'll call it balanced. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh yeah. We're gonna call this one balanced. Okay, well, that is the scientific portion of our testing. And I gotta say, thank you to the kind viewer that recommended that I check out this knife, because I think it is a really good knife and a really good value, and it's the kind of thing I like to show you. You know, we've looked at knives that cost upwards $300 or $400 on here. We've looked at knives that cost lower than price than that. Try to offer a range, a variety of prices and quality. I think this is an exceptionally good value. And really what this reminds me of kind of is Condor knives from a few years ago. Because again, around the $50 mark with that absolutely killer, very nice leather sheath. It's not the hardest steel in the world, but it's good quality steel. Altogether, I think it's a really, really good value and a really great knife at any price, but at around 50 bucks, this is a real good deal. So anyway, I'm rambling, I'll shut up. Thanks again to the folks at BPS Knives for sending me this so I can show it to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.